Hi, Mr. Parlin. This is my presentation of The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. So basically, I'll just talk about the history of Margaret Atwood. So Margaret Atwood, she was born November 18th, 1939 in Ottawa. Because of her father's job as an entomologist, his ongoing research had his family moving around, and they never really settled in one area for a while. So she was never a full-time student until the age of 8. Margaret spent most of her time as a child reading literature. She gained an interest in literature at a young age. Margaret started writing plays and poems by the age of 6, which is pretty young. Margaret graduated from Leaside High School in Toronto in 1957. After high school, Margaret attended Victoria College at the University of Toronto. There, she got her undergraduate degree. Later, she attended the Radcliffe College, where she got her master's degree. Margaret went on to teach English at multiple different universities, such as the University of British Columbia in 1964 and 1965, Sir George Williams University, 1967 and 1968, University of Alberta, 1969 to 1970, York University, Toronto, 1971 to 1972, University of Toronto, 1972 to 1973, University of Alabama, Tuscaloosa, 1985, New York University, 1986, Macquarie University, 1987, and Trinity University, San Antonio, Texas, 1989. Margaret now writes novels, short stories, poems, and poems. She currently lives in Toronto with another writer named Graham Gibson. So her works of art, or her works and influence, Margaret mainly writes nonfiction and fiction novels and poems. She's very well known. She's a very well-known author and helped shape Canada's identity for literature. She's basically one of the most known Canadian authors. And yeah, like a lot of people read her books. She's very popular. So basically her influences is she was exposed to literature at a young age, which really gave her the interest in writing and reading and creating books and novels, short stories for everyone to read. Another thing she said that her influence was actually writing books and interacting with people. She really enjoyed that, and yeah, that's basically her main influences. Some of her main works can be shown are The Handmaid's Tale, which was adapted into a film. Sorry. The Robber Bride, which was made into a TV film. The Blind Assassin, which I read. Oryx and Crake, The Edible Woman, and The Year of the Flood. These are only examples of some of her really good works and her novels. She has a bunch of other stories, novels, poems, all of that sort. Margaret Atwood's actually very big into feminism. A lot of her books really show it. They're all based around women. Typically, like The Blind Assassin, it's shaped over women and how the main character Iris overcomes her husband and stuff like that. Margaret Atwood is obviously a feminist, my bad. Most of her writing is based on female characters that are strong and can stand up for themselves. Margaret tries to influence women to be independent and to stand up for themselves, or stand up for other women as well. She believes that other authors who call themselves feminists can't call themselves that if they don't write about women regularly in their stories. Some of her best novels that involve feminism include The Handmaid's Tale, Blind Assassin, The Edible Woman, which are also very popular books. So comparison between The Blind Assassin and the movie The Other Woman, they're very different in some ways, but the stories and the characters can be related very well. So the blind assassin and the other woman are both similar in certain ways. This can be shown by the sexual life of the characters in both stories. A character named Iris in The Blind Assassin has a bad sex life and life in general with her husband. She then goes on to have an affair with a man named Alex, which is a big part in the novel. In the movie The Other Woman, the character named Mark King has a wife who he has an affair with multiple other women. Also, both stories have the same types of humor. They both kind of carry like the same types of obnoxious jokes kind of thing. The Blind Assassin is very vulgar with its language, but it still carries the same types of jokes in a more serious manner. The Blind Assassin carries these same characteristics, except is brought in a more friendly the other woman is brought in a more friendly and comedic way for the jokes. The Blind Assassin and the Other Woman both mainly revolve around women. In both stories, the women are the ones who are betrayed or hurt by the men. Also, the main characters of both stories are females. Both stories involve the women trying to get revenge on their husband or boyfriend due to certain events in the plot. In The Blind Assassin, the main character Iris tries to get revenge on her husband for raping her sister. And then in The Other Woman, the three main characters try to get revenge on their husband/boyfriend for having an affair. Lastly, both stories involve women overcoming men. Both stories are directed to women to stand up for themselves, even to their husband or loved ones. Both stories have different natures to them. However, they both carry a lot of the same characteristics in their plots. So these are just pictures of the universities that Margaret Atwood went to. So this is University of British Columbia, Sir George William University, the University of Alberta. And one thing I noticed is that she actually teaches at a lot of universities in her lifetime, which I thought was pretty cool. This is York University, Toronto. This is the University of Toronto, University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. This is New York University, Macquarie University in Australia, Trinity University in San Antonio. So basically I just posted some pictures on here and I'll just describe why I posted them. So this car flying off the bridge, that's actually, it's a reference to, in the story, The Blind Assassin, when Iris' sister drives off a bridge after being raped countless times, and after her love affair with Alex, he actually dies, so she gets very sad and drives off a bridge. Oryx and Crake. This is another book that Margaret Atwood wrote. It's very popular. This picture right here shows a chicken running after a boy with an axe. That's kind of showing the revenge of Iris that she gets on her husband for raping her younger sister Laura so many times. This picture right here represents Margaret Atwood as a young child. She was always exposed to literature, reading it, writing it, and it's kind of like what influences her today. This is Margaret Atwood winning the Letters Award from Prince Philippe from Spain. That was a pretty cool award. She's won multiple awards actually, so that was one of the big ones. This right here, this is a picture of a woman saying "we can do it." It's from World War II, I believe. It's a very big picture. A lot of people know about it. This is kind of showing the feminism side of Margaret Atwood, about all of her stories and how she like really believes in women, feminism, and equal rights and stuff like that. So I put that in there. And then this picture shows a man and a woman at dinner, and then the woman is reaching over behind her to another man or woman. Doesn't really show it, but either way, it's just showing the love affair between people in the relationships shown in The Blind Assassin. So yeah, that's why I put that in there. And then this page is just my references for everything that I use for all my information and stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed the presentation, and yeah, thank you for listening.